The Chicago Bears have officially kicked off training camp, and right from day one, things started heating up. If you were expecting a slow, easy transition into the season, you've got another thing coming, because let me tell you, this team came out of the gate with intensity, energy, and some serious statement making from both players and coaches. And yes, there were already some surprises, a few standout moments, and a very clear tone being set by the new regime. Let's start with the defense, because that's where the fireworks popped off first. Tremaine Edmunds wasted absolutely no time making his presence felt. First snap of the 11-on-11 drills, and bam, he picked off Caleb Williams right over the middle of the field. It was the kind of play that gets the rest of the team's attention immediately. For a guy like Edmunds, who came into this season with a lot to prove after an up-and-down 2024 campaign, that's exactly the kind of tone you want to set. He's paid like a premier linebacker in this league, and now the demand is that he plays like one consistently. No more floating in the middle. No more solid but unspectacular. Under new defensive leadership, the expectations are rising, and Edmunds showed he might be ready to rise with them. Head coach Dennis Allen had some very strong words regarding Edmunds, making it crystal clear that he expects him to be a centerpiece in this defense. According to Allen, Edmunds has all the tools: length, speed, range, instincts, the whole package. The challenge now is translating that raw ability into dominant, consistent play. And if Edmunds is starting training camp with interceptions, leadership, and a hunger to reclaim his status as a defensive difference maker, that bodes well for the Bears. But he wasn't the only one standing out. Running back Roshan Johnson also made waves in practice with a slick one-handed grab that turned heads. Last season, Johnson didn't get many chances in the passing game. He was primarily used in short yardage scenarios, only 20 targets all season. But this year, things are looking different already. The new offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, seems to have a completely different plan for Roshan, one that actually includes him as a pass-catching threat out of the backfield. And that's important because Johnson is one of those players who, when given an actual role and rhythm, can break out in a big way. You can feel that a clean slate has been given to several players on this roster. There's no baggage from previous coaching staffs. It's all about what you can do within this new system. And Ben Johnson has made it clear, if you execute, if you meet the standard, you'll be given every opportunity to shine. Speaking of surprise performances, undrafted rookie J.P. Richardson came out and made a name for himself instantly. Now look, this is a guy who came in with very little hype, an undrafted player out of TCU. But if day one of camp is any indication, he's not here just to fill a jersey. Richardson made what many observers called the play of the day, a full extension diving, one-handed catch in tight coverage that had the sideline buzzing. When you're an undrafted rookie, you don't have the luxury of quiet days. You need to pop. And J.P. Richardson did exactly that. It's early, of course, but when you start hearing more buzz around an undrafted player than guys like Tyler Scott, who were expected to take steps this offseason, you have to pay attention. Scott's spot isn't guaranteed, and if he's not making waves while guys like Richardson are, then don't be surprised if the coaching staff decides to go with the guy making plays. That's the new bar. But let's shift now to arguably the biggest standout of day one, and no, it's not a player, it's offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. Because while some coaches ease into training camp, Johnson came in like a lightning bolt. Reports out of camp said that during a 7-on-7 session, after some lackluster execution, Johnson pulled the entire starting offense, yes, the whole group off the field, just shut it down. That's not something you see every day, especially not on day one, but that's the message he's sending. Sloppy football is not acceptable. Not now. Not later. Not ever. Johnson didn't wait for a pattern of mistakes to develop. He didn't wait until week 3 of the preseason to start demanding discipline. He stopped the drill, set the standard, and made it clear, this is not how we do things. And that is exactly the kind of leadership this team needs. It sends a message to every player on the roster that you don't get passes because you're a first-round pick or because you're a veteran. The expectation is perfection, or at least the relentless pursuit of it. And look, it's day one. Mistakes are going to happen. It's a brand new system, brand new terminology, brand new rhythm. Caleb Williams is learning how to run an NFL offense. He's going under center more than he ever has in his football life. But what you don't want is for bad habits to be allowed to simmer and grow. That's how losing cultures start. That's how promising talent gets wasted. So Johnson is cutting it off at the root. The real test now becomes how the offense responds. Does Caleb bounce back quickly? Do the receivers tighten up their routes? Do the linemen clean up their assignments? Because the expectation has been made clear. And it's not just about yelling or making a scene. Johnson's message was purposeful. He's trying to build something here, something that looks and feels completely different from the stagnant, predictable unit we saw last season. And that's going to take time, but it's going to take effort and discipline more than anything. And while we're on Caleb Williams, let's talk about him for a second. It's no secret that he didn't light it up on the first day. That interception to Edmonds, not great, but again, this is the learning curve. Caleb's never run a pro-style offense before. He's stepping into a brand new playbook, brand new coaching style, brand new expectations. It's going to take some time, and that's okay. Ben Johnson has already said he wants Caleb to complete at least 70% of his passes this season. That is a bold, aggressive target for a rookie. Only 5 quarterbacks in the league hit that number last year, and that includes Johnson's former quarterback, Jared Goff. But it tells you where Johnson's expectations are not just to have a functional rookie quarterback, but to have a surgical, high-efficiency one. One who can lead sustained drives, move the chains, and maximize every possession. And Caleb, he's embracing it. He's not running from it. He's not downplaying it. He said his personal goal is to become the first 4,000-yard passer in Chicago Bears history. Let that sink in over 100 years of Bears football, not one quarterback has ever thrown for 4,000 yards in a season. And Caleb wants to be the first. That's the mindset you want. He's focused on precision, on helping the team stay on the field, converting drives into points, and ultimately, stacking wins. That's a good sign. That shows alignment. When your offensive coordinator and your quarterback are on the same page with goals, the rest of the offense can follow with clarity. It's no longer about just hoping to be decent. It's about striving for greatness, even as a rookie. And yeah, the pressure is real. The spotlight is white hot, but Caleb seems ready to attack it. Now, while there were plenty of positives, we also have to touch on a few concerns. Injuries are already starting to pop up, and that's never what you want to see. Star cornerback Jalen Johnson is going to be out for several weeks with a leg injury. The team insists there's no long-term concern, but still it's never ideal when your top defensive back is missing time, especially with a new defensive staff in place and new schemes being installed. Then there's Luther Burden, the rookie wide receiver, has now missed significant time dating back to spring, with various soft tissue injuries. He was expected to be a key part of this new offense, particularly as a weapon out of the slot. But so far, he just hasn't been able to stay on the field, and the more time he misses, the more opportunity it gives others to step up in his place. That's the cruel reality of the NFL. The machine keeps moving. The Bears did bring in veteran Olamide Zaccheaus, who could fill that slot role if Burden can't go. But make no mistake, the team wants Burden to be a big part of this offense. Ben Johnson had big plans for him, and if he can get healthy and stay that way, there's still plenty of time for him to get on track, but the clock is ticking. At the end of the day, training camp is about more than just installing plays or learning a new playbook. It's about setting a culture, and right now, the Bears are doing exactly that. Between Ben Johnson on offense and Dennis Allen on defense, this coaching staff is laying the foundation for a team that holds itself to a higher standard. No more excuses, no more apathy, while the offense and defense are being pushed to elevate their game. Let's not forget how much this coaching staff is also raising the bar for mental toughness. We talked about Ben Johnson's expectations, but Dennis Allen isn't far behind when it comes to setting the tone, especially on the defensive side of the ball. After day one, he stepped to the mic and made it clear, playing on this defense isn't just about talent, it's about mentality. He said, "You have to pay the toll. You have to pay the price. It's a privilege to be on this defense." That's the kind of message that sets the entire vibe for the unit. Dennis Allen is not here to play nice. He's known for being one of the more creative defensive minds in football, but he's also known for intensity, and right now, the Bears need that badly. This is a defense that ranked near the bottom in nearly every major category last year. 27th in total defense, gave up over 350 yards a game. Ranked near dead last against the run, giving up over 130 yards on the ground every week. That kind of performance just isn't acceptable. In Chicago, a city that prides itself on physical, dominating defensive football. So yeah, Dennis Allen is coming in with an attitude, and that's exactly what this group needs. No more soft coverage, no more missed tackles, no more excuses. The days of the Bears being a pushover on defense need to end now. And the upgrades they made this offseason point to a real commitment to turning things around. They brought in Grady Jarrett to solidify the defensive line. They drafted Shamar Turner, a guy who brings power and disruption up front. There are new faces in the secondary, guys fighting to prove they belong, and returning leaders like Yaquin Brisker who are hungry to take that next step. But physical upgrades are only part of it. You need the mindset. You need that monster of the Midway identity to return. You need to make opposing offenses afraid to step on the field. And Dennis Allen is going to push every single player until that mentality is second nature. It's not about rah-rah speeches or hyped-up drills. It's about holding each other accountable. It's about demanding effort on every snap, every rep, every meeting. That's how you change a defense, and honestly, you can already feel it in the energy coming out of Hollis Hall. It's only been one day, but there's already more structure, more fire, and more purpose than we've seen in years. There's a quiet confidence building, not just because of talent, but because the standards have been raised. And that's coming from both sides of the ball. That said, the injury news is something that continues to hover over this team like a cloud. We already touched on Jalen Johnson, who's out for multiple weeks with a leg issue. The team is trying to downplay it, saying it's not a long-term concern. But anytime a player of his caliber is missing time, it raises eyebrows. Especially because Jalen is in a contract year. Bears fans remember him voicing his desire for a new deal, wanting to be paid like a top-tier cornerback. But now he's sidelined before the real work even begins, and that complicates things. It's not about questioning his toughness. Jalen's a competitor. But from a team-building perspective, you can bet the front office is watching closely. Because if younger guys like Zay Frazier step up, or if Trey Flowers proves to be a steady veteran option, that puts pressure on Johnson to not only return quickly but to return sharp. He can't afford to ease into the season. He needs to hit the ground running, and unfortunately, he's not the only one dealing with setbacks. Luther Burden's situation continues to be frustrating. He showed up to camp in shape, which is great, but he's still not participating due to that soft tissue issue. And this isn't new. He already missed OTA letters and mini camp with other injuries. That's a lot of valuable time lost for a rookie who was expected to play a major role in the passing game. Timing, chemistry, route precision, these are things you develop through reps, and Burden is missing all of that. Ben Johnson's system relies on receivers being in the right place at the right time. It's not a loose, improvisational scheme. It's structured, it's precise. And if you're not fully immersed in it from day one, it can take time to catch up. Time that Burden simply doesn't have if he wants to be a key contributor early in the season. Now, fortunately, the Bears aren't scrambling. They've got Oladime Zaccos, who's played in this league and knows how to operate in the slot. But let's not pretend he has the same upside. Burden was supposed to be a weapon, a spark plug, a versatile threat in motion, out of the slot, downfield, you name it. And for now, all we've got are questions. Is this just a minor delay? Or is this going to be one of those lingering issues that haunts the early part of the year? Soft tissue injuries can be tricky. They might not sound serious, but they're the kind that can drag on if not managed perfectly. And for a guy like Burden, who thrives on burst and quickness, you don't want anything slowing him down. At some point, he needs to be on the field. You can only simulate so much. Chemistry with Caleb Williams isn't built through Zoom meetings. It's built through reps, timing, and trust. And that brings us back to Caleb, the guy everyone's watching. He had his bumps on day one, the interception to Edmonds, some timing issues. But none of it should come as a shock. The transition from college to the NFL is massive. The windows are tighter, the coverages are more complex, the speed of the game increases tenfold, and Caleb is not only learning all of that, he's doing it under the weight of sky-high expectations, but he's handling it like a pro. He's not ducking the challenge, he's embracing it. He's setting lofty goals like becoming the first Bears quarterback to ever throw for 4,000 yards. He's speaking openly about how a 70% completion rate helps the team more than it helps his stat sheet, and that's leadership, that's maturity. You want your franchise quarterback to think that way, but wanting it and achieving it are two very different things. Ben Johnson knows that. He's not giving Caleb some unrealistic task just to pump him up. He's setting a benchmark, a North Star, and the work to reach that mark begins now in camp. In the film room, in the rhythm of the huddle, you can't just show up on game day and hope it all clicks. To help get there, expect the Bears to use a lot of quick throws, simplified reads, and personnel groupings that allow for smoother execution. You'll see more to tight end sets, more spread formations that open up easy passing lanes, more checkdowns to backs like Roshan Johnson, who's already looking like he'll play a bigger role this year. It's all part of the plan to get Caleb into a rhythm, and let's not overlook the protection. Offensive line play will be critical. Giving Caleb a clean pocket not only boosts his confidence, but allows the offense to run the way it's designed. You can have the best play caller in the world, but if your quarterback is under pressure every snap, it falls apart. So guys like Darnell Wright, Tevin Jenkins, and Braxton Jones, they're going to have to step up and stay healthy. Depth will be tested at some point. It always is. And as for Ben Johnson, he's not letting anything slide. You could feel his presence on day one like a shockwave. He's vocal. He's demanding. He's not satisfied with talent alone. He's pushing for execution, for details, for buy-in. That's the kind of coach this offense has needed for a long time. And while it's early, the results of that tone setting are already showing. Players are competing harder. They're sharper in meetings. They're quicker to self-correct. And that's how you build a culture. Not by slogans or cute sayings, but by daily accountability, by high standards, by refusing to allow sloppy habits to take root. And to wrap this portion up, the Bears have already made their first roster move of training camp, releasing defensive back Tarvarius Moore. Now, this wasn't some shocking cut. Moore was always a depth piece in a crowded secondary. And with the addition of Trey Flowers and other emerging young players, it just made sense. Roster cuts are going to happen. They're going to keep happening. That's the nature of the NFL. You build a 90-man roster, but only 53 guys make it. The rest of these players are fighting for jobs, and every rep matters. Moore had joined the team in the spring, so he had time to prove himself. But when you're competing in one of the team's deepest position groups, the margin for error is razor thin. It's not personal, it's business, and there will be more of these as camp continues. The bottom line right now is this: the Bears have completely shifted their approach from previous years. This is not the same old training camp under a complacent coaching staff. There's a new energy, a new seriousness, a new culture taking shape. And it's going to be fascinating to watch how the players respond to it, especially the leaders. Because training camp isn't just about the young guys proving they belong. It's about veterans showing they can still be impact players. It's about new faces carving out a role. It's about building the chemistry and trust that you can lean on when the real games begin. And after day one, there are plenty of reasons to be optimistic. Tempered optimism, yes, but real, grounded hope that the Bears are building something stronger, something smarter, and something far more sustainable than what we've seen in the past. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what's becoming the talk of the NFL offseason, rumblings from inside the league suggest that star running back Saquon Barkley could be donning new colors this year. Word on the street is that Barkley has left the Philadelphia Eagles and is making his way to the Windy City, possibly joining the Chicago Bears. Nothing is official yet, but the whispers are getting louder, and fans are already imagining him charging downfield at Soldier Field. Though there's been no formal announcement from either team, sources close to the situation hint at Barkley parting ways with the Eagles in search of a fresh start, and Chicago appears to be the likely landing spot. The Bears, who've been quietly building a competitive roster over the past seasons, may see Barkley as the missing piece to ignite their offense. The move, if it becomes reality, raises plenty of eyebrows. Barkley joined the Eagles last season in a high-profile transfer from the New York Giants, but things never quite clicked in Philly. Injuries, inconsistencies, and a crowded backfield may have contributed to his sudden exit. While some insiders suggest tensions behind closed doors, others believe Barkley is simply looking for a team that will feature him more prominently. Chicago, with a revamped offensive line and a promising quarterback situation, could offer Barkley the spotlight he craves. And let's not forget the Bears' run-heavy offensive philosophy, tailor-made for a workhorse like Saquon. The fit seems almost perfect, almost. Of course, as with all off-season chatter, there's a chance this is nothing more than smoke, but the timing, the silence from the Eagles camp, and Barkley's cryptic social media activity no longer following the Eagles on Instagram, for instance, are only fueling speculation. If the rumors prove true, the NFC North just got a lot more interesting. Stay tuned. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.